Welcome again. Today is day 2 of my 3-day live series. I'm Renee Jones-Hudson, your transformational life and fitness coach. And today we're going to discuss going from powerless to powerful, no more hiding. Today we're going to discuss some common misconceptions of high achieving women in their 40s. And I just want to just say this before I continue. Even though the focus is on high achieving women in their 40s, this actually could apply to anyone. But my focus right now is women in their 40s, high achieving women in their 40s. So there's a growing number of women like myself. We're confident, we're passionate, and we're successful. But sometimes we still feel disappointed, exhausted, and confused. And some of the time, like, I felt like I was alone until I met a group of women like myself, who expressed, no, I have the same thoughts. I feel that way at times. And, it helps, just because we often don't know how to ask for help. We don't know how to say, you know what, I need to talk. I need this, because we are trying to push through. We're trying to just, be our best at all times, even when we're not feeling our best. So I can remember a time where I actually felt powerless, seriously powerless. And this was when I was 24 years old. I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. This was a really tough time for me in my life. I was in the military still. I had just had my son, and we had gotten to a new duty station. And, it wasn't right away, but that whole transition was stressful enough because we drove from Georgia. We actually drove from Georgia to Washington State. But I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at that time. And, I am new to my duty station. I got a team of soldiers. I have my baby. I have a boss. I have obligations. And I got sick, not knowing what was going on with my body. I ended up in the hospital for almost 3 weeks. I think it was closer to a month, but I remember 3 weeks exactly. And the doctors at the time, colitis wasn't really talked about. They really didn't know what was going on. So it wasn't, clear if it was colitis, if it was Crohn's, if it was IBS, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, if they don't know, like, I'm in big trouble because, but the biggest thing for me is not having control. Consider this. I'm supposedly healthy. I'm, fit. I'm taking charge. I'm in control. I'm a leader in where I'm at. And, just not having control over what's going on with my body, that left me in a powerless state. So I was discouraged. So with that, I want to lead into some of the misconceptions for us, and when I say us, I mean, yes, I'm focusing on high achievers, but I'm also focused, it could apply to anyone. And if you can relate to any of these, just drop the number in the chat. So one is the feeling of missing out, that there's so much that you could or should have done at this particular time in your life, right? Or feeling like the things you want to do in life are not important enough. These are things that you're hiding from doing because, you're trying to show up. You're trying to show up even with these feelings. So just so you can understand, feeling like you can't really do more of the things you really want to do. Feeling trapped behind that career, the life, and the status you worked so hard to create. Or you're feeling like you have to live up to the expectations that are placed on you, or the expectations that you placed on yourself. So if any of those, if you can relate to any of those, just put the number in the chat. So the first one is you feel like, you're missing out, that there's so much more you could have done in your life, but at this point you're not there. Or the things that you want to do in your life, they're not important enough for you to take the step to do them, because you have to take care of family. You have to, be this person for your career, in your career. You got to be a leader. You got to show up. You feel like you can't do the things you really want to do because all of these things are, all of your priorities are forefront as opposed to you putting yourself first. And you're feeling trapped behind the career that you created, the life that you created, the status that you've worked so hard to create for yourself. And you feel like you are trying to live up to everybody's expectations, your career, your family, that's all the expectations that you feel you have on you or that you put on yourself. So this is, for me, all of those resonated because that's the place where I was also in that place. I felt, and this is also where a lot of my clients were. These are some of the things when I was a personal trainer, when I was training my clients, these are some of the things that were echoed to me as well. And this is why I'm so passionate about approaching help from the whole person perspective, as opposed to just, let's get you on a meal plan and work out the physical aspect. That is important too. That is important too. There's honest those things that you need to address, because honestly, those things show up in other areas in your life. It shows up in other areas of your life in the same way. So many of us are feeling powerless in other areas of our life, and we only address the external. We do not address the internal things. A lot of how we feel sometimes show up as stress, acute or chronic illnesses, like in my case, weight gain, fatigue, depression, high blood pressure, and just a plethora of things. So, but when you step into your power, you can start, stepping into your power is, you can start with something as simple as doing one thing towards getting to that place where you want to be. And being powerless, I want to explain some of the things that I want to define powerlessness for you, just in case it's not clear what that is, because it's not necessarily about being weak. It's, what does powerless feel like? What does it look like? It's anger, it's fear, it's doubt, it's anxiety, it's a lack of confidence, it's apathy. It shows up in this form. That's what powerlessness is. So when you fear taking that step to even go to the gym or eating right or just going for that job that you always want, or the position, not so much the job, but a higher level position because you deserve it, but you're so fearful, whether it is to hear no, or you think to yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, whatever that may be. That's what being powerless is. It's the things that we tell ourselves that we can't do. Oh, I'm not good enough for this. They're not going to pick me. It's also comparing yourself to others, looking at other people where they are in their life and comparing yourself. That's being in a state of powerlessness. And so when I say step into your power, it's stepping into who you truly are, stepping into doing the things that you want to do. And let me say this, by no means is this easy. For me, it definitely is an ongoing process. You're going to work, to do the work is to understand that it's ongoing work. It's never just, what? And most of you can relate, because I'll use weight loss as one of the things, because that's one of the simplest things to use. A lot of times you may say, I want to lose weight and I'm going to get on a plan, and you start out, but then you may feel like, okay, everything will come up. The baby's sick. There's not enough time. I got to go into work, but a way for you to get past that, you know, the excuses, that's you resorting to that powerless state, right? So instead of saying I can't, or it's not going to happen for me, get out, emphasizes, you know, definitely get out of thinking like in a victim mode. That's another place, you know. It's just make the commitment to do what you need to do for yourself, and that's going to take doing one single simple things. And it's not just about weight loss, it's about, you know, what are some of the things in your life that trigger you, that make you angry. Consider if you find yourself frustrated and, you know, annoyed, where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Because yes, you can have the best body, but if you haven't worked on, you know, clearing out the clutter that's internal, then you'll always be in that never-ending cycle until you get those two in harmony. Then you can't really be whole, right? So this morning I was, you know, looking at my phone, and I found a quote that I thought it was really fitting for this topic. And it's by Brianna West. It says, your anger is telling you where you feel powerless. Your anxiety is telling you that there's something in your life that is off balance. Your fear is telling you what you care about. Your apathy is telling you that you're overextended and burnt out. They are not random. They are messengers. If you want to get anywhere, you need to be able to let them speak to you and tell you what you really need. And your body, our bodies tell us exactly what we need, that there's disharmony. When we're sick, it's telling us there's something wrong. Something is not going right. But oftentimes we don't pay attention to it, myself included, right? We push through. We do, you know, oh, I'll take something for it instead of going to the doctor. And, you know, it's really sad because we always wait for the last minute, you know. And fortunately for some of us, you know, we do take the step to find out what's going on with us, but others of us, we don't do that. So the powerlessness are those states where, you know, you feel discouraged. You know, what else can I do? Nothing is going right. But it's all about a mindset shift. It's really about shifting your mindset to a place where, you know what, there's so much that I can do, you know, but I can do this one thing today. I can do one thing today. Maybe I want to lose weight. So what I'll start doing is I'll start walking for 5 minutes every day. Maybe I'll increase it to 10 minutes. What about if it's more of an internal thing? I find that I'm so angry at times. I'm frustrated. You know, I really want to figure out what that is. I want to figure out, why do I get so upset? And that's, you know, just taking the time. And that's power in itself, becoming aware of the messages that our bodies tell us, becoming aware of what our body's doing, how we react. All those things are what plays a part in being a truly whole person. And like I said, I want you to understand that this is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process. I mess up. I still get angry, but I'm aware of that. And, you know, I also, when I get angry, I try to figure out what am I truly angry about? What has got me in this state? What is it that's causing this? Because, you know, we can let our emotions dictate, you know, the state that we're going to be in. If anger is a powerless state, right? So if we want to switch that around, pull back, take a break, you know, take a step back and try to get to that point where you're like, you know what, I truly need to take a breath and understand where this emotion is coming from, where this feeling is coming from. So to that, if any of those resonated with you, if this was really, if this really you really connected with this content, I really want you to take some time to really go, I can put some of these in the chat, what the misconceptions are, and just think on those things. Think on the things that you can do to come into your own power. It's taking years for me. I'm in my 40s and I'm not there yet, but the thing for me is I have the support to get to where I'm trying to be. And that's what it's about, aligning yourself with the right people and the right support, aligning yourself in situations and people. Because another part of being in what's the word I'm trying to find, in a powerless state, is also the things that the things and the people that you surround, the conversations that you're listening to, the food that you eat, the negative self-talk. Those are all state of powerlessness. So you have the power to turn that around. You have the power to say, you know what, I am not going to, this is not where I want to be, and I'm gonna reword, I'm gonna restate what I just said. Okay, you don't have to stay there, and you don't have to hide behind your career and everything else. You can be in the state of being that you truly want to be, but it's up to you to take charge of that. It's up to you to become more aware of what your body is saying. And definitely, when you fix the inside, the outside will match. And it doesn't mean that, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. When you fix the inside, the outside will match. So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate y'all showing up for me today. Tomorrow, I am going to provide some tips, that you can take. I gave a few here today, but I will provide some more tips that you can start implementing to step into your power. Remember, it doesn't have to be a big change right away. It can be small, consistent shifts that you make to step into your power. Before I leave though, I did give a challenge yesterday, and if you had an opportunity to do that, I'd be super curious to the challenge was, what's that internal power that you have or that you desire to have that you're not really, going for right now. So if you actually thought about that, or, actually wrote it out, just definitely, I'll be so curious to learn what that was for you. You can DM me or call me if you have my number. But I want to thank you guys again for showing up today. Thank you for joining me on the second day of my 3-day live series. And I will see you tomorrow, where we will discuss some tips on how to step into your power. Have a nice night, guys.